Hey everyone, what's going on? I'm back with another video, and last week we took a look at the grip case Crystal from Skull Co. We did a sort of hands-on and review on that. If you guys are interested in watching, it's in the top right-hand corner of your video up here. But this week we're going to be taking a look at their Jumpgate Dock, also from Skull Co. Now, if you're unaware of what the Jumpgate Dock is, it is a third-party Nintendo Switch dock. Yeah, I know. Third-party Nintendo Switch dock, but we'll get to that in just a little bit. It's meant to be a much more portable and versatile Nintendo Switch dock than the actual Nintendo Switch dock. I mean, have you seen how big the Nintendo Switch dock is and how much of a pain it is to bring around with you? While the official Nintendo Switch dock is $89 and comes with an AC adapter and USB-C cable, this dock is $42 and only comes with the dock itself, which means no AC adapter. So not only can this be used for the Nintendo Switch, apparently it can be used for smartphones with DeX, aka Samsung phones. What that means is you can plug your Samsung phone with DeX into this dock, have it wired into your TV, and use your monitor as almost like a full-fledged computer system using all the processing power of your Samsung DeX enabled phone. And there's another really cool thing about this, which is you can use this with your laptop as well, because it has a really cool adapter, which I'll talk about in just a bit. With the basic information out of the way, let's just open it up and take a look at what's inside. You get some specifications, the dimensions, weight, and material on both the Jumpgate Dock and the core drive, which is basically the brains of the entire operation. Opening it up, you get a little manual here. You get the actual Jumpgate Dock itself. You get silica gel, of course, and then you have a USB-C male to female. So this is the Jumpgate Dock. It is made of hard plastic with a very minimalist design on the top here that just says Skull Co, and then on the bottom you have a little graphic design that you're not really gonna see. It is made of hard plastic, probably the same material as the actual Switch dock itself. They feel very similar, but also this one is so much significantly smaller than the actual Switch dock. Take a look at it. This is what it would look like on both ends. It's tiny compared to it. The Jumpgate Dock has a couple of really interesting features. This first one is this folding flat design, which allows you to not only place the Switch in here and have a little backrest so it's not resting entirely on the USB-C plug here, but it also folds flat with a click, so that way you can move it and bring it with you wherever you're gonna go. The second feature I wanna highlight so far is underneath this Jumpgate flap here, it opens up and it says with case and without case, which means that it allows you to have versatility when it comes to if you're going to use your Switch with a case, a particular case, maybe the Skull Co case itself, or a different case. Or if you're gonna just use your Switch without a case. Either of those works perfectly fine because this allows you to adapt to whatever your needs are. If you're using a case and it's a little bit larger, then you can always remove this little pillar here and allow you the space to place your case and Switch into. But if you're using something like the Switch by itself with no case, there's a little indent that perfectly fits this. So you can put this in here and then put the Switch in there without the case. Now at the back of the case where the ports are, we have a USB Type-C, which is for your AC adapter. We have an HDMI, which is for your television set that you're plugging it into. And we have two USB 3 ports here, which is actually one less port than the original dock itself, because the original dock here has one USB port here next to the HDMI and AC adapter, and then two on the sides here. So it is one less port on the Jumpgate Dock, but the most interesting feature of the Jumpgate Dock is this. Well, actually, this. This is the core drive. This is basically the entire brains of the operation. Now, to go back to what I previously said, is this can be used with your laptop. It's basically a USB hub that you can plug in via USB-C, because it also comes with an SD card reader and a micro SD card reader. So you can easily take this, plug it into your MacBook, which doesn't have an SD card reader or an HDMI out, and just use this. Hence why I said that there's a lot of versatility with this. Now, let's say you want something even more portable than just this. Well, you pop out the core drive because, again, this is the brains of the operation, and you can just leave this at home. You bring this with you, you plug it into your Switch, plug it in your TV and all that stuff, and you're good to go. But now if I plug it into my Switch here, it's kind of odd looking. Well, that's also why they include the USB extender cable, so that way you can plug this in here and plug this into your Switch down here, and all of a sudden you can just rest this on the table with no problem of bending the port here or the port here. Now, there is the million-dollar question, which is, do third-party Switch docks still brick switches? In fact, the question is, for this is, will this third-party Switch dock brick a Switch? Now, let me start off by saying that there's a lot of information regarding third-party Switch docks and how or why they brick switches, but it's something that I don't completely understand. As far as I know, firmware updates caused the original bricking issue, but based on how power was delivered via USB-C, I don't understand it, so I'm not qualified or would feel comfortable with trying to explain it to you. All I know is I am willing to put my Switch up to the test. So when I received this dock, I did do a little bit of research to see if it would work with firmware 11.0.1, which is the most current firmware update, or the current one that my Switch is on, and I didn't see too much information on whether or not it worked, but also not too much information on whether or not it didn't work. Skull Co does have videos on their website showcasing that the Jumpgate dock works with recent firmware updates, but those were as recent of firmware update 9. And what I had been reading around was that they didn't have time to make a video for the 11.0.1 update, but that it does work, which makes me think that why would they send me a product to check out, review, and test if they weren't confident in it working? Because if Skull Co were sending out Switch docks to reviewers that did brick their Switches, well, then you would see a lot of negative reviews, not only from their website, but also online. And from what I had seen so far, it seems like there's not many bricking issues. So that's a sign of confidence in their product. And if you want more information on the testing that Skull Co did on the Switch docks, then you're more than welcome to check out their video on their YouTube channel, which talks about the different third-party docks and how power is delivered between the dock and the Switches, and how those ones cause bricking but theirs doesn't. So they do have information on that if you want to research a little bit more. Now, this is going to be the first time I'm using my Nintendo Switch in the Jumpgate dock, and I'm going to be using the official Nintendo Switch AC adapter cable and then just a regular HDMI, and it's plugged into my Elgato capture card, which is going to be showing up on my screen here, and I have a recording of it so you'll be able to see everything as it happens. And now I just have to plug in the Switch itself, so we'll see in just a moment what happens. It is now listed as charging, and then I power this on. It says 1 moment, please. And I mean, gotta get my Joy-Cons up. And it seems to be working. Yeah, I mean, it doesn't seem to be any issue so far. So it seems that the Jumpgate dock seems to work on this first try for me. Now, whether or not it works on the second, third, fourth, fifth, and so on, I guess is all just really dependent on the supported firmware on the core drive. So let's say if the Switch updates to firmware 12, is there that possibility then of it being bricked? The colors on this look pretty close to what an actual Switch looks like, except I think that some of the blacks are a little washed out just a little bit because it looks gray as opposed to just straight black. But for what it's worth, these colors still do look pretty spot on. Wrapping up my impressions on the Skull Co Jumpgate Dock, I think that this is a very versatile, portable, useful little device. You can use it with or without a case or without this enclosure at all and just bring the core drive with you anywhere you go. And this, even being able to use it as a USB hub, is fantastic. Now I am aware that this could possibly brick your Switch with a future firmware update, but if you pay attention to Skull Co and I guess follow them in their updates, then they'll let you know whether or not this starts bricking Switches. And if you follow me on my Twitter and stuff like that, if this does brick my Switch, I will post about it and you won't hear the end of it. But if you do end up picking up one of these, I do highly recommend you use the Nintendo Switch AC adapter as opposed to other AC adapters, just to, you know, be safe about it all. Anyway, those are my final thoughts on the Jumpgate Dock from Skull Co. Leave down in the comments below what you think about it. Do you think that it's a good product? Are you gonna pick up one of these, or are you worried about the possibility of bricking your Switch? Leave it down in the comments below, like the video if you liked it, subscribe if you haven't, and as always, I'll see you all in the next video. Peace.